Hello, Facebook land, everyday leaders. I'm so excited to be here today. Um, I have a little bit of change in schedule because I think Rene Michele has overslept in Australia. It is 4 a.m. in Australia. And so I have been texting her and waiting just a little bit to see if maybe that spurred her on. But I think maybe she's overslept. Not a big deal at all. So we are hello, hello. I'm not sure who that is. I can't see your name, but hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. So I have a wonderful, wonderful substitute that I had sent the link to join us even in Rene Michele's broadcast about abuse recovery and the things that we have to do to strategize in our lives to make our lives better. And so I thought a perfect opportunity for this because of we're launching something really fabulous. And Sonia Etchemendy is here. And come to think of it, I just got something in the mail today.
What can it be?
You know what? I was so excited because I said, Sonia, help me. Here we go. April, hello, April. Holly, how are you? All right, so this is, and if you can see this little label here, it says 10 can moments. And Sonia's launch, you guys, I posted this the other day, our podcast, her launch of her book, and now this is the product launch. And here it is. It's
Drum roll.
one of the very first ones. I'm so excited. So Sonia, while I'm opening this, why don't you say hello and tell people what this is all about?
Okay, hello everybody. I cannot see who's on here, but I will tell you that in the book, Living a Life of Tin Can Moments, you'll read about a process that my husband and I started in 2012. And little did I know, my entire life has been full of tin can moments. And so, what's a tin can moment? It's an action. It's an action that creates a situation for you to leave the negative attitude behind and fill it with a positive attitude. And so, because my husband and I do this once a year, we start on January 1st of putting one good thing a day in the can. And I don't care how bad your day is, I don't care. You can find a good thing. We have blessings every single day. And see, one good thing a day. Now, the story in the book, and I won't go into detail, but that can is designed exactly. I mean, it is a photo of my grandmother's stained glass window. And under that window, the stained glass is 100 years old and it's installed in my home now. But underneath that stained glass window is when my grandmother introduced me to Jesus. And that was my first tin can moment because I had been going through abuse, which Renee could talk to today. I had been going through abuse, and that moment when my grandmother introduced me to Jesus and the bright light in the center of that stained glass where it says Tin Can Moments came shining through, she said, "That's God. Give it all to God. Give it to Him." That was a tin can moment. And so little did I put the two together until I was encouraged to write the book. Thank you, Eric Reed. Um, and wrote the book. Long story short, we've launched the can. Um, I want people to understand the importance of recognizing your blessings. They are with you every day. And I was with someone yesterday that was miserable. I mean, it's someone that you don't want to say to, "Do you want to write a note and put it in the can?" Because they'll just like go away. But just talking them through their day, they actually found a blessing in their day. And I said, that's what you need to hold on to. And so what happens is you really don't experience the gift of the can until New Year's Eve of 2020. And that can, full of your blessings and your loved ones' blessings, whoever you choose to do it with, it all comes together like a hope chest at the end of the year. And you read through all of the blessings that you had for a year. And what ends up happening is while you don't forget the bad things, you've put them in the right place in your life because you're walking away with a year of good things. There's a memory. Open the can. There's a
Okay,
memory.
okay. But
Good.
I wanna tell people what's inside. It says the
Oh, okay.
nutritional, right?
We'll see. Show them the label on the back. There's actually a nutritional label on the back, and it clearly shows what happens when you focus on good things. Those are guaranteed to happen for you. And so I could talk this all day long because it's my mission. It's a mission that God's hands are all over it. I give all the glory to God. This is such a blessing to be able to be the vehicle to deliver the importance of this movement. And so listen, you're the second one I've actually seen open the can. The other was my brother-in-law last week, and I gave him one for his 60th birthday. And I told him, I said, I've mailed them out. I've never seen them opened, and we'll see what. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So on the back of this, it says serving size 1 note and serving per day minimum of 1. And it says, the humor is 100%, kindness 100%, positive thoughts 100%, spirituality 100%, personal growth 100%, can-do attitude 100%, thankfulness 100%, blessed 100%, grateful 100%, reflective 100%, and appreciation 100%. So here we go.
Okay. What is it?
Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. So inside there is a pouch. All right. There's a pouch and it's a guidebook. Can you see this? There's a guidebook here. And the guidebook is right
Oh, it just
placed in the
slips out
front.
so easy.
It's so nice. Limited edition. This is really
Yes.
important. Limited edition, right?
Yes, I posted a picture of the actual cans in the garage, packaged, ready to go. And when those are sold, it's done for this year. We won't sell any more till next year. So
And
we still have
so
some left.
and so this is a little note of congratulations for starting your 2020 journey, right? And so the instructions are for here, right? I'm going to open. You want me to read the rest of this, or do you want me to? How
No,
would you
you
like
don't
me to
need
do
to
this?
read.
Okay.
Yeah, what I want you to do is read that when you have time. Oops, when you have time to read it. But what I want to tell you in that thank you note is a gift to you. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
People can find out what their gift. It's a special gift, and each can is numbered. Look at the bottom of your can.
Oh yes. So
Okay, so what I did is I held out numbers for my launch team so that my launch team could receive the first numbers. Well, 0 is the sample can for 2019. So every year the 0 will be for the sample can so we can see our growth. I can take suggestions. I can take things that people did to get creative to make the process even better. And I can change it every year and just see the evolution of the can. And then, of course, number 1 is Dennis and I. Number 2 is Richard Eric Reed, just because he wrote the foreword in the book. And then I just started assigning numbers to the rest of the launch team. And then I just started selling them and adding numbers. So each can has a number on the bottom. And that is your unique number. And it says it in the thank you card that at any time you can go to the Tin Can Moment website and take 10% off your entire purchase at any time, no matter what you order. You can order my book, 10% off. And actually, let me tell you something about the book. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not because the book
go
is a
ahead and
number
say it.
one. I will. The book is a number one
Oh,
international
that's
bestseller.
Renee's. Let me get your book.
Renee's book is good too. I bought Renee's book already. I have it. Yes, it's very good. Anyway, my book is an Amazon number one international bestseller. So you'd think I'd be pushing go to Amazon to buy it, but don't. It's so expensive. I had no say in how much they put on the book. And they posted a black and white version, which is about half the price of the color version. And I don't like the black and white version. I think you need the color photos to feel the stories. And so I have it on my website for less than the black and white on Amazon. So if you're wanting to get this for yourself or a gift for Christmas, you can, buy it anytime. But buy it from the website, which is supposed to be launched in about a week. I will tell you, the landing page is available. And I guess we can post the landing page below because you can buy it from the landing page. So
Yep.
I'll post that below, the link to the landing page. But it's much cheaper on the website than it is on Amazon.
So tell me that's www.tincanmoments.
Yeah, tincanmomentsbook.com.
I'll put it in here right now.
Okay.
Book.com.
And we'll see who gets lucky because today is the day that they're transferring the amount of the book. Up until yesterday, the amount has been the pre-launch price, and everybody that's bought it has bought it for the pre-launch. Today, it's at the rate. Its pre-launch was $20, and today it's $25.99, which is still cheaper than Amazon. And so you might luck out and still get the $20. I don't care, it's either 20 or $25.99. But I know that switchover is happening sometime today. So if you go there and it's down, it's just because they're upgrading the landing page, but it should be fine. I'm so excited for you to start your journey on January 1st. And so everybody needs to know if you get a can, I'm going to be sending you a very brief little video shortly after you get your can. And I am going to be interviewing people throughout 2020 so they can share their tin can moments, talk about creative things they've done with it. Maybe they're having some problems with it and we need to fix it. You never know. But I know two brains are better than one, so I'm always open to suggestions. But those who have a can will be invited to be on my podcast and talk about what you're doing to improve your attitudes
That's awesome.
and increase your faith.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. So, anyone, I just posted this link here and I've got it in the comments. If you guys want to ask Sonia a question, I was going to do this with Rene. And so we haven't tried this yet. But if anyone would like to hop on here with us, ask Sonia a question about the process of how she did this,
You're losing me.
anything about this. So, this is the pouch. I have my camera set up right in front of me. So, this is the pouch. And you have a tag to keep you accountable, right? So this says your tin can moments for 2020. And so you just can attach this here. There are note cards. There's also a pin. And so what's great about this, you're ready. When you open this tin can, you are ready to be grateful immediately for anything that you believe will help you just kind of reflect on the last part of the year when you open that up December 31st, right? December 31st of 2020, and think about how you're going to change the next decade. You have
This is
influence
what I
and power.
know. Yeah, this is what I know will happen because we've done this consistently since 2012. On that day when you read the notes randomly, don't sign your name to the notes. You just write down your positive thought and put it in the can. And at the end of the year, we randomly pull the notes out and read them. And what has been consistent with each year, we laugh, we cry, happy tears. We talk about things we never would have talked about. And we put all those notes in what we used to do, a Ziploc bag, and I would take a felt tip pen and write the year on it. And so now you've got a memory pouch with a tag on it, and you can set it aside and pull it out when you're feeling things are bad or you want to remember what special happened in 2012. I have to tell you, when I look in the 2012 Ziploc bag, I laugh. I laugh so hard. I draw no tears because we've talked through it. We've discovered new things about each other. We've started each new year thinking positive. We go to bed on New Year's Eve feeling really good about the previous year, no matter what happened. And I want this. I want this for people. I want people to experience this change. The formula that I discovered when I was researching for the book, and this holds true to all the stories in the book, is that if you can have a positive attitude and a strong faith, you can overcome anything. Anything. And what ends up happening, people always say, put faith first, put faith first. In this case, I feel, and based on the people I've talked to, if you've got a bad attitude, I mean, a really bad attitude, it's very difficult to not only listen to God's word, but to study God's word and to absorb it. So I think you have to work on your attitude and then keep your faith strong, and you can overcome anything. What happened over time for us and the people in the book is that the formula flipped. All of a sudden, their faith is the most important thing because they've developed a habit of having a positive attitude. And they've overcome some incredible, incredible situations in that book. So the formula works.
The
And
formula
this is a
works.
fun way to do this with your loved one, with your family. We're going to do one at our family reunion this year and keep the notes each year for the family reunion. So this is one for your 2020 for you and your loved ones, you and your family to do together.
It's so amazing. Sonia, I don't know if you can talk about you're doing this in schools. You talked about it on the podcast, but
Yes, yes,
can you
yes,
share
yes.
that with us? Because I think that's really exciting.
It is exciting. How much time do I have?
You've
And
got as
I'll,
much time as you want.
okay, whenever Tin Can Moments was birthed on Eric Reed's show, Fun Friend Friday, people named it Tin Can Moments. People were writing different cans we need. We need a Mother's Day can. We need a Father's Day can. And someone said we need a school time can. And I'm like, oh please. Been there, done that with all the kids. I'm 67 at the time, 67 years old. I'm not doing the kid thing. But I wrote down school time can anyway. What ended up happening is I was led, you will, by God because of the way it happened. I had no choice. I was put in the direction and in the path to get the cans in the schools. So, to make a long story short, I met with the superintendent of schools in my district, told him about the process, and I also shared with him my experience at the Environmental Protection Agency and how if you allow children to be creative, it's amazing what they can create. And he liked it. He said, you know, I've got a special school in my district, and I'm going to let you test it in that school district. And if you can get results, and I think my dog's barking, go see daddy. Daddy will let you out. Um, and he said, if we can get results in that school, we can get results anywhere. So I met with the principal and I asked her and a couple of teachers she pulled in how they want their cans decorated. In my mind, I thought, oh, they're going to want the school mascot or the school emblem or the school colors. But no, they wanted these glow in the dark neon colors on the cans. And so we created that for them. And we even created a very special, larger can for the school mascot, the dog, so that students could put notes in the dog's can when the dog brought them some positive experiences. So I heard from the principal this week, and she said that not only she's already got the feedback forms from the teachers, and they even added some own creative changes, which I cannot wait to hear. Loved the idea. They cannot wait to do it again next semester. And this is what's very special about this process is that I said we need to get the parents involved. And so what happens next week, I mean this week, I think today's the last day of school. What goes home with the student in their memory pouch are all of their notes that they wrote one good thing a day for this entire semester. And the note from the principal will say to the parent, please sit down with your child and let your child share these notes with you and talk about what's in the can. Now, this parent is not going to be told that Sally couldn't do her work this semester and Johnny missed too many days, or we think, you know, she needs help. And no, it is all the good things that the student created, that the student thought of. Can you imagine how powerful that's going to be for a parent to sit down with their child and end a semester on that note?
Mhm.
So they go back the second semester and it's a different memory pouch because we want the parents to keep that memory pouch for that child for that year, that semester. And so now the principal and I have an appointment to meet with the superintendent. And oh my goodness, we're going to be in all the school district next year. And so that, the reason why this is so important, and I guess I'll just share the story. When I was with the Environmental Protection Agency many, many years ago, I've been retired since '04, so it's been a long time ago. And it was in the very beginning of my career at EPA. They were trying to get a program started. And they had gone to all the major companies. I was a contracting officer, so I was going to be the one to negotiate the contract. And this program office just could not get the companies interested in this program. And someone at the table said, well, why don't we take it to the schools? Why don't we start in the schools? Because, kids are creative and kids are more open to new things than adults. And so they took it to a local school. The children ran away with it. They created even a better way to do it. And then the children were challenged to go home and educate their parents. And that program today is called the recycling program. It got its legs when it was introduced to students who got it. And they added to it, made it even better. And that's what it is today. So if we can do that with environmental issues, why can't we do that with attitude? It's
Absolutely.
not measurable because we are the only one of the things we have control over 100% is our attitude. We choose it. And if we can teach the young people the importance of doing the same thing, I wonder how many students from that school dread the end of a semester when they have to take all that stuff home and they have to sit with their parents and go over all the bad stuff. And yet, this time, with the bad, there may be bad too, but they've also got this very special pouch. Oh, I left something important out. When I was talking to the principal, she made a suggestion which I really liked a lot, and that is she's not sending the notes home until the first week of the beginning of the next semester, the first week in January. She wants the parents to get all the stuff done. The holidays are going on. It's busy, busy, busy. And so when the children come back to start the second semester, that day is when they're taking their notes home from the previous semester. Because now holidays are over, we're back in school, let's focus on school. And I liked her suggestion. So I said, yes, let's do it that way. We'll see how it works out.
It's
But
so
I,
awesome.
I never thought, and that's why I say that this is God's hands all over this. This is not me. I'm just a vehicle. Because if it was up to me, I would not be in the school system. I wouldn't have started it, entertained it at all. But it's almost as though I was tripping over it. It was in my way. It was in my face, and so I had to take it to the school. And now I'm mentally back at the Environmental Protection Agency, experiencing the joy of knowing that young children have this power, and that's going to rub off on their parents when they
Mhm.
develop their attitude. It's going to rub off on their parents, don't you think?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah,
and thinking about the kids that feel powerless because don't
yeah.
have maybe all the tools, they're not equipped, and so
Mhm.
this is gonna give them the confidence to be able to step
Mhm.
into that and think they can empower their families. If they wanna make a change, they're gonna have the power to make that change. They don't have to say, "Well, it's this rule until you're 18," right? Many of us heard that, and you're this way
Right.
until you're 18, and then you can live your own life, but what if the kids
Right.
actually could influence their families today? This is
Mhm.
gonna be
Well, the one thing
unbelievable.
I do know will come out of the pouch, I mean, it's guaranteed. They've been doing it since the first day of school. And I know at least one note, at least one, will be pulled out, and their parents will have no idea that that child appreciated whatever it was that much.
Mhm.
I know that's going to happen
It's
because of the
amazing.
environment set up at the school. And each teacher has decided what time of day it works for each classroom.
Mhm.
And another thing, I have to call the principal today because I came up with an idea. She was going to have the teachers take their tin can. Oh, the teachers had special color cans, and so the students were allowed to drop notes in the can to tell the teacher something the teacher did to make them feel good that day.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to be meeting with all of the teachers before school starts again. And I'm going to want them to bring their tin cans, maybe share it as a group
Yeah.
together. I don't know. I'm going to suggest that today. So, yeah, the teachers, everybody in the school, including the mascot, the admin staff, everybody had a can.
That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
gonna share I brought up I was as you were explaining all of this, I wanted to bring up here if I can. Um, can you see that?
Oh, my,
Let me
my
see.
bifocals here.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
Is that your desk?
Let me see. I'm learning this still, see? So I wanted to see if I could. Yeah, you know me. I'm always tempting with this, but so I'm trying to bring up the your Facebook page, and I'm not sure it's letting me. I may have a setting on here wrong. So I'm sorry about that, but I was going to show people
That's
the
okay.
actual um the site, and it may be because I am just on Facebook and not on, um yeah, it's not gonna let me show that. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, go to Tin Can Moments on Facebook because
Hmm.
you can be a part of this, and, if I was able to
Hmm.
share that screen oh, you know what? Here's why I didn't hit the share screen. How many mornings are we on Zoom together, Sonia? Is that hilarious or what? I love
Oh
it.
my
I
goodness.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm such a ding dong. All right. How's that? Can anybody see that now?
I can't.
There we go. I think we're good. I think I'm
I can't
crazy.
see it. What is it we're supposed to see?
Let me see if I can. Don't you?
I only see me. Wait a second. Maybe something's coming. Oh, well, I see your entire screen.
Yeah, I know. So so this is that, and then, so Tin Can Moments is in here, and I'm trying to see if I can
There it
share
is.
this. There we go. There we go. All right. So
There. Yeah.
this is let me change my messages here. But yeah, so here we go, and this is the stained glass window, and then, oh goodness. Hello, Renee, she's up. She was actually up, so
Yay. Yay.
but this is really important for people to go to and be a part of this movement because you could read all the things that Sonia is behind and excited about. And so I really encourage you to be a part of this. Go and follow this, get connected to it, like the page, and you will be able to change your life. It's just the perfect time to think into starting a new something new, right? Something new.
Yes, and I'll leave you with this, and then I think we should transition to Renee. Um, those of you who do go to the Tin Can Moment Facebook page, watch for scroll through the mentors of the month because sometimes our negative, difficult times, we can only get out of it when we have help. And so there were a lot of people nominated who help others. They were nominated for Mentor of the Month, and we're going to be announcing January, the first winner. And we're going to be doing that. There's one right there. We're going to be doing that every single month. And we've already got the January nominations, and there'll be a January winner on the website. And all of their narratives will be on the website. So keep that in mind. If someone has influenced you, if someone has helped you get through a bad time, nominate them, and you'll see on the website how to do it. Very simple, no requirements, no length requirements, just submit them.
Just
And
submit them.
so, Melanie, thank you so much for having me on. And hello, Renee. I'm glad you're up. I hope everything's well in Australia. And good timing because my daughter needs me to leave.
That's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna come back here, I'm gonna stop sharing, and I wanted to
Okay.
thank you very much for being my wing girl. Dennis LaRue always says
Anytime,
wingman, but
anytime.
wing
Thank
girl,
you for
right?
everybody listening, and thank you, Melanie. Oh, there it is.
There it
Tin
is.
Can Moments. All right,
Order.
bye.
Bye,
I'm
thank
gonna I'm
you.
gonna leave and turn you over to Renee. Love you,
Okay.
girl. God bless. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye-bye. So, what an amazing morning, right? So, we have so much to learn today. All right, so now I see Michele, Rene. See, I do it again. I do it again. It's 'cause I see it. All right, I'm gonna stop this. Miss Rene is in the green room. So I'm gonna have a drum roll because this is so exciting. And I do see I had your book here. And if you would have been on with Sonia, I said, oh, look, I have Sonia's book. But I'm going to bring on Rene because, oh my gosh, my heart. We talk about abuse. And I posted this because if you are about abuse recovery, if you would like some help, just understanding the strategies, this lady is who you want to connect to. So do the great things. Get your tin can, order your tin can so you can think about great things and ways to change your life. And here we go. I'm going to add Rene right now. Hello from Australia. It's
Hello.
it's so early over there. I'm so sorry.
It is 10 to 4 in the morning. I love it.
Here's the funny thing. I'm on Eastern time.
I'm just going to drink my tea.
I was laughing. I said, okay, so here's my big coffee.
Oh,
So
right.
I text you. So I was like, oh my goodness, she's probably asleep. And I don't
Oh,
blame
gosh,
her at
no.
all.
No.
So Sonia had signed on to kind of talk to you. And I said, well, why don't we talk about Tin Can Moments?
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
No. This is the first of many. So this works. This is great because when you popped on, I was able to add you immediately. So this is what's great about this.
I love
You're-
StreamYard. I really do.
I love StreamYard. For people that haven't used it yet,
Mm,
I am really encouraging them to try it. Don't be afraid of it. It's,
mm.
a little like trying to get it set up, but once you do just a couple things, right? It is so
Super,
easy.
super easy. I do a live with the lady the other day, and we've been trying to do it through different methods and Zoom. And I took her through StreamYard, and she was so nervous, and it was like one click and she was in. She's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I know, right?
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yes. So,
I'm fixing myself.
so
I had time to make tea and get dressed, but I didn't have time to fix myself. See, the Aussie chick, she's too normal.
so here we are.
Here we are.
So everyday leaders, this is Rene Michele, and I've been promoting the heck out of this because I think right now,
Yeah.
this time of the year, right? Battlescars. What have we learned this decade? What
Mm,
have we learned this decade? Oh my goodness. If we could only go back and say, could I have approached that differently? Did I have any control? How would I do that next time? And the things in your book are super
mm,
powerful. And since you were on my podcast, you launched this book. You had not
mm,
launched this book yet. And so now that I've read it, there are gems,
mm,
everything, it's filled with knowledge. But it's about your journey. And it's to help people
mm.
stand up and as you wrote to me in my book, be a warrior. Right?
Yes,
Be the warrior for yourself in your life.
correct.
And so thank you for coming on here. If I've got people, I'm going to text while you are kind of introducing,
Yeah, sure.
so I can get. I know
Mm.
April Holly wanted to come back on here, and what I would like to do is bring people on and do a little coaching session
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do
for
it.
people that have some questions for you, what they've been struggling with.
Mm.
So I'll let you take it away, and I'll get on here.
So good morning, everyone. I'm sorry about my husky Demi Moore voice this morning because it is almost 4 a.m. here, but I was so excited to be here with Melanie because, as she said, we have been speaking for quite some time now, and let's be honest, abuse is not a discriminator of persons or gender or socioeconomic class. It really does not discriminate. And just this week, we actually had some very sad news here at home. This is a very, very crucial time of year to be close to people, and suicide does go up, and we have had already that touch us here just this week. So we really, really have to be mindful to be checking in with each other and to put down our phones and to use this time to really, really connect with one another. My own story, I was abused since the age of 10 years old. And that created in me, obviously, a lot of mistrust issues and just absolutely shattered the way that I saw the world. And unfortunately for me, that abuse happened very close to home and in my home. So the people that I trusted the most to protect me failed that duty. And what that does is it alters the way that we see ourselves. So it shattered my self-esteem, my identity. I had no idea who I was. And the self-talk that I took on board was very negative, very shaming type of dialogue. You know, naughty girl, this is your fault. Nobody loves you. Nobody wants you. There's something wrong with you. And it is something that we take through every sphere of our life when we do experience abuse, particularly in childhood. And for such a illogical act, you know, now here in Australia, it is still 87 to 95% of assaults go unreported. And that is because as a child and even as an adult, let's face it, how to explain to somebody what has happened to us, how to go through that questioning process and being able to tell somebody what happened. And in my case, I disassociated. So I basically went into freeze mode. We know about fight, flight, and freeze. I froze and I just shut off my mind and went to another place. So I couldn't really connect with my body. And each time that happened, because unfortunately it happened throughout my adolescence and into adulthood, I would freeze again. So shame, I then felt, because why didn't you fight? Why didn't you flee? Why didn't you do more? Mm-hmm. So again, we heap that shame upon ourselves, and, you know, human behavior, we do that. And I went down a very dark road of addictions and very violent relationships, domestic violence, because of that lack of self-esteem and identity. And it wasn't until I met and heard the story of other survivors for the very first time in my life, because I didn't tell anybody about my abuse till I was 26 years old. So I carried that, like many of us do, that secret shame, and we bury it. But it does show up in in every area of our lives. And obviously, like I said, once I started hearing survivors speak about their story, that's when I started to have hope for myself. And that's why I tell my story today.
Mm-hmm. And it's so powerful because let me tell you why. When I read your book, I haven't gone through what you've gone through. I haven't. And so I have empathy for you. But what really touched me is identifying with what your words in the book are, relating it to corporate America. Right? So when I say that, I think of every situation where you have felt like you are shunned, where you are not respected, where you have to prove yourself, where you try to fix things that are not fixable. That you lie to yourself thinking that you're in the right relationship, you're in the right opportunity to help yourself. And so those things that you touch on in this book, every one of those is so powerful for anyone. So your identity, right, in writing the book, it speaks to people all across anything that they're doing. So as I continue to say, it's not just about, that specific pain. And that's what I love of how you've addressed this.
Yeah. And that was really very important to me, Melanie, because somebody said to me, I've been contacted, particularly the book has done so amazingly well in America. And I have to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to you guys, because the support and the encouragement and the love that has come from the States and Canada has just been overwhelming. And that is a lot of the feedback that I do get, is that people are able to take it and really take it to any part of their world that they're working with. And I have given my story, a very little tidbit of my story, at business breakfasts over here. I've been invited to speak. And that's at like 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning, while businessmen and women are eating their bacon and eggs. You have to be careful how you launch into a bit of a story like that. But what I do is I take just the foundation of how that affected my self-esteem, my value, and my identity, and I do apply it to business. Because how can you price yourself accordingly if you don't know your value? How do you reach the right audience if you have no identity and don't know who you are and don't know what message you have to bring to the world?
Right.
So it absolutely does apply to every area of your life.
It does.
Mm.
And so for people that haven't gotten this book yet, your website, and I did this, was trying it with Sonia, and I finally was able to do it, but I wanted to bring up your website here
Mm.
for people, and so I think I figured it out. Let me
You're
try this
amazing. I'm
again.
going to sip my tea while you do that.
Exactly. Um, there we go. Perfect.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, you're so clever.
So I am testing myself. So I wanted to share this because, for anyone that is needing to connect to you. So maybe today they say, "Oh, I don't feel like I can speak live about this, but
Mhm.
I want to connect to you because I have a question. I need coaching through a
Mm.
situation. I need to understand more about my own personal transformation." This website is great because
Mm.
as you hell yeah, right?
Hell yeah, baby.
But it's so true. You can go through here and really, this transform link, if it's going to
Mm.
work for me.
It's jam-packed in there. I've got links to interviews. I've got links to other podcasts that I've done so that people can understand the types of things that I talk about and the types of things that I weave into my coaching. So I talk about the fight, flight, freeze. I talk about the way that trauma affects the body, the brain, the nervous system, because so many survivors just don't understand that the way that they've responded to trauma physically, mentally, and emotionally is exactly how they were supposed to respond. It's how we were created to respond, to survive. And the fact that they're alive today, I reframe the incident and say, actually, you are amazing because your body knew exactly what to do in that moment to get you through and out the other side. And now we can work on the other things. But you are amazing. Your body's amazing. Your brain's amazing. And you're here. Let's get started. So there's different interviews in there. There's different types of strategies, and people could just explore at their own leisure. There's a contact page. They can send me any questions that they have whatsoever. You know me, Melanie, I'm up for anything. I'll answer
You
anything else, give anything a go.
Well, and it is so important because let me see here if I can get back. There we go. So, what is key is that people have access to resources.
Correct.
And I think today, some
Vital.
people still feel very isolated, no matter if they're not isolated. They could be in a work environment with cubicles, right? And
Mm.
something could have been traumatically affecting them from their home and they haven't dealt with. And so they bring that baggage to work and vice versa, right? Work
Mhm.
environment creates your family influence. And so
Mm.
this is really critical. If we cannot discover and talk about and then redesign our life to be purposeful and fulfilling and being warriors, being able to face those things,
Mm.
it's just going to help you live your life with success. Walking into this new decade, if we could do that differently, if we could show up differently than we do this last week before the holidays, when
Mm.
we're taking this 2-week break in the US, what would that look like for people?
Yeah, and self-care is so, so vital. So I put a post on LinkedIn this week and I shared the ABCDs of how to survive this Christmas. And at the bottom, I just put this little line that said, hey, if anybody's struggling with Christmas, you've got family coming, and because I was particularly talking around dysfunctional family members, I said, just send me a message with your situation. And I said, and no strings attached, I'll provide you a strategy to help you with that. Well, straight away, 10 minutes later, I get this SOS message from this amazing lady going, Rene, help me. And it was so fantastic to know. And I applauded her and I celebrated her like I do everybody who reaches out. It is strength to reach out and say, I need help. And she had done that, and I was able to sit down and give her an ABC strategy and all these amazing links as well that would help her. And she wrote back and she said, oh, thank you so much. She said, I just feel now that I've now been provided with tools, because that's what it's all about, right? It's just reaching out grabbing some very practical tools that you can apply. And self-care is just so huge. We do so much for others and we forget about ourselves. And I always talk about the aeroplane analogy with the oxygen mask. You must take care of yourself first. Otherwise, you're giving out of a depleted energy source. And that's never going to be optimum for anybody.
No. And some people say that's selfish, right? Well, how
Mm,
could you do that? Or how could you go do that and invest in yourself? And you're taking time away
mm,
from your family. And really, it's not about that, right? You can't
mm.
give what you don't have.
I think it's selfish not to do that because then you're giving your family not the best of you.
Hmm.
So how is that really honoring your family and your loved ones and your job? How are you honoring that to the best of your ability if you are not giving those things your best and you know you're not? That's the hard part because we do limp through life going, oh, I should really, but I don't really want to. And look, trauma's a biggie. It brings up a lot of things. But I met with a beautiful girl this week who sat and held my hand in a coffee shop and cried for over an hour because she was just so scared to go there. And I said, honey, but if you don't, you're stuck here. And look, this is not any picnic either. And I said, let's just do it and do it together. And it's about knowing you're not alone. And that was the whole reason I wrote the book. It was not for any other reason. But I said, if it saves one life, Melanie, then I have done my job. Because the biggest thing that I experienced growing up was I felt so alone. And that's why I didn't tell anybody. And it keeps people shamed and it keeps people silent. And that's why we have to get so much better at saying, I have been there, I get it, and I'm here for you. No judgment, just love.
Right. Right. And so many of us talk about this though, right? There's social
Mm,
media. So the thought for most people is, oh, well, I can just reach out and text you.
mhm,
I can just text you or I can FaceTime you or that's going to be good enough, right? And so
mhm,
but going through something like this. So when you've had trauma, when you've had abuse, when you're actually in a recovery process,
mm.
it's more than just a text. Right,
Yeah.
and that's what I want people to understand about you. You know, yes, you have a plan, and here you can write out your plan, and you can do these action steps, but
Mhm.
you have to have someone in your life to be accountable to through this
Yeah, you do.
because you can't do it yourself.
Human connection. You cannot say it enough. The feeling of an embrace, the feeling of somebody right here looking at you going, you're going to be okay. I'm going to walk this with you. You can't get that any other way but being in the presence of another human being. And when you meet another human being that gets it, oh my gosh. Because the one thing that I get from all my clients is, how do you know that that's what I'm feeling or want to say? Or how do you know that they're the thoughts that I have going through my head because I've been always scared to tell anybody? And I'm like, because I had them too. And that's why my amazing ladies are able to get breakthrough so quickly because they don't have to say all the things they have to say to counselors for decades like I tried to do because they just don't get it. We're not we can't do a cookie cutter approach. We're not cookies, we're people, and we're complex beings.
Mhm.
So if you I went through and counseling and therapy, please hear me here, has its place, and please do that because I did that and it definitely helped me at a particular place in my life.
Mhm.
But what I'm finding, Melanie, is people like you and I who have big lives, we have families, we have businesses, we run businesses. To go to a counsellor for 1 hour in an office and sit there and divulge your entire life story, it's not conducive to a lot of people's lifestyles anymore.
Mhm.
So to be able to connect across the other side of the world in your PJs with a cup of tea, and it's safe and it's non-confrontational and they can click out at any time, it really is the new age of being able to connect with resources and tools that before we just didn't have. I didn't have campaigns growing up talking about mental illness or abuse. So we have made great progress, but we have a long way to go.
Mhm. So you've been speaking recently. Tell me about these experiences because I know that's really exciting. And from
Mm,
just a perspective of people saying, "Okay, so you went from not talking about it at
mm,
all. You've written this book and now you're going out on these campaigns and you're doing speeches about
mm,
how uncomfortable did that seem to you at first because now you're being looked at by 200,
mm,
300, 400, 500 people,
mm.
right? And
Yeah.
influencing them.
I love it. And to even hear that come out of my mouth is a little bit like, did I just say that? Because part of the conversation that I have with people is I grew up being told to shut up, sit down, no one cares what you have to say, nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Do not use your voice. You don't have a voice. And that's how I felt. So now to be doing, and speaking to massive rooms of people like that, it's amazing. But I always get up there going, this is not about me. There's someone in here that needs to hear this today. And I always remember, Melanie, when I heard survivors speak, it was that pivotal moment that I got enough hope to believe that I also could try and possibly actually get past this stuff. Because before that, I had been suicidal most of my life, just never really believing that me, Rene, it's okay for you, but I'm different. And it wasn't until I heard all these other people saying it that I thought, I'm not different. They're just like me. So now being able to share and have people come up afterwards and hug you and cry and say, you just told my story.
Mm.
And there being one person, two person, 10 people, 15 people. And then you go home and you think that was amazing. And then the emails start coming. You're just like, thank you, God, that you really did instill in me that tenacity and that resilience to just get out there and help others. And now that's what we're able to do for others, right? Empower them and provide them with the tools to also find their voice. And now they're going to have that ripple effect in their sphere of influence. There's just no better feeling in the world. I love it. And it's an honor. It is an absolute honor to for people to allow me into their life so deeply, so quickly. And to just go there, and we owe it to ourselves and others to just go there. Just do it afraid. I did it terrified. I would cry and feel nauseous and everything beforehand. But again, that thought of, Rene, but it's not about you, honey. There's someone there. And all of a sudden I would feel that. I still shake. I'm shaking. My legs shake the whole time. And I'm like, I hope people can't see that. Apparently they can't. So it's all good.
They can't see you have your pajamas on.
Yay.
It's so important because with people that have transformed and transitioned, and you think about that breaking point where you said, yeah, I'm ready to do it. I've got, you have all your notes, you have all your content, and you're like, but am I really going to write the book? Am I really going to do it? Because maybe it might touch something that it might disturb something and people might look at me a certain way. And so having the confidence just to speak up when you talk about being isolated, being silent, saying that your voice doesn't matter, that's the message I think for people out of this is you do matter. You do matter and you need to find a way, whether it's email, connecting, Facebook, website, whatever that looks like for you, to just through the holidays here, it is one of those times where people reflect on things that happened maybe years ago, maybe last week. And they think you have to be back in the room with certain people that have not made them feel confident about themselves. And so this is a real struggle. And because we're forced to kind of come together sometimes in the holidays, and it's really uncomfortable. And what a perfect time to be able to say that you can have the power to make that look differently for the rest of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, let's be honest, holidays is such a stressful time. And then we add things like alcohol on top of that. And then we add things like financial stress and trying to keep up with the Joneses, oh my gosh, I don't have enough presents for the children, or I have to visit so-and-so. So now I have to take presents for them. And, we heap all this pressure upon ourselves. And I know, like I said, suicide rates spike over Christmas. And then also you've got family members and loved ones that have lost people at this time in prior years. that are now dealing every Christmas with that memory of what should be a happy time can often be a very uncomfortable time. And then you have people that are alone because they have dysfunctional family members. So they choose, no, I don't wish to be around that environment. Therefore, well, where do I go now? They've made a great choice by pulling away and looking after themselves and their mental health. But what now? And, I know that we in our town here on the Sunshine Coast, we have a lot of initiatives for people who do not have families that they can go and connect with one another. And it's a day that they put on lunch and meals and so on. But then there's shame attached to that as well. So it is just a very difficult time of year. And that's why I think we all have to be on the lookout for our colleagues, the people we work with, the people that we just encounter every day, which often we can forget to check in with. And it's like, hey, what are you doing for Christmas? I have a friend here. He has bipolar. He has an amazing family, but his family are going away at Christmas. So I said, bring the dog, jump in the car, do the hour trip and come up and hang out with me and the kids for the day, because I don't want anyone to be alone this Christmas. It shouldn't be done. I've had times, like I said, when you feel alone, and if I know that somebody else has even the potential to be spending Christmas on their own, no, you need to come up and hang out. And that's what we need to do. We just need to check in. We just need to be having crucial conversations.
And it's not that difficult. It's not difficult to reach out. It doesn't cost anything to say, let's get together, right? Let's just have a conversation. Let's meet at a coffee shop. Anything that you feel, if you know someone will be in that space and be sad or lonely or depressed because they've lost something or they're not able to go back to that environment, it would be great for every single person that sees this to reach out to one person.
One person. Can you imagine the effect that could have? That flow-on effect, that pay it forward, and just continue to do that. And then I think, Christmas is such an important time because emotions are heightened. But then we have 364 days of the year where we're tempted again to just go, back to work now. That period's over. Back to the grind. And we do. We pick up our phone. We're busy people, and the busyness can make us forget very, very easily. And it's about getting into that daily habit and being grateful as well, but getting into just really good habits, isn't it, Melanie? And having that routine and going, right, one thing today or one person today, and just making actually be intentional. Yes,
one good thing a day. Okay, Sonia, I'm giving you another plug.
Didn't even know.
Her 10 cans just came out, but it is about one good thing a day. And so bringing it back in, that's why I was like, pop on here because it's really great. We encourage ourselves to say, in her process is, if you have had a bad day, if you've struggled, find one good thing, write it down, put it in this can, save it for the year. And then on December 31st, you take these out and you celebrate. Because many times, right, we're taught if you don't write it down, you can get it out of your mind. But things, if you're not journaling, if you don't have an accountability partner, like you really have to be intentional about change. And I posted something today, right? Change is not scary if you prepare for it. It's those occurrences that happen when you're not aware of them. And so if you're preparing, then you're prepared, right? Then you can accept and you know the steps to take. And we're not afraid of evolution. We're afraid of instant change. And so if you've been dealing with something for many years or many days, and you know that you've just accepted it, right? You've just become to accept that it's happening. That's not a good thing. If it's disturbing your life and it's restricting you from living a life of fulfillment, and you're afraid, and it's the scarcity mindset that you don't deserve because, right? You don't deserve because, or you're told you're not good enough because. That can all be transformed, and that can happen overnight. But making that decision to take control is the first step. And so your strategies are so simple to follow, so simple to follow.
Yeah, and that was, we need simple, in the like I said, and I know I sound like a broken record, but the lives we lead, there's 10 steps to this or 30 steps to this, or, a year and you can be this. And we know that, and that's awesome. But we need things that we can apply now, today, that can almost immediately elicit some type of change, whether that be an emotional change, a mindset change. It has to be something that we can see straight away. Okay, I've done that. Oh, look, this has happened. And that is the thing. It should be practical. I don't believe, it's like those, chiropractors and things like that we go to now and again. And I've been to them once again. But I always laugh that when you leave those appointments, they're like, see you next week. And you're like, oh, does that mean I'm never going to get better? Because every week, see you next week. And I'm like, hang on a minute. And that was very much, what I talk about in the book. You shouldn't have to be reliant on a therapist for the rest of your life. Now, you can use them as an accountability tool. And a lot of people do. It's about why you're going. Are you just going to vent and go bleh in their lap and then go home, oh, I feel better, but not do anything? Because then you just stay stuck in the same spot. And when you're talking about fear of change, I think a lot of the time we confuse fear of change with fear of the unknown. And we sort of go, but what if? But what if? And I'm like, yeah, but what if you stay like this forever? Is that enough for you? And living in regret is the worst feeling of what might have been. But what if I had just, and what is it? It's that movie, isn't it? We Just Bought a Zoo, where he talks about 20 seconds of insane courage, and I'm like, that is so profoundly true and simple. We're just so afraid of judgment, but what will people think if they don't? What we put that aside. What are you going to think when you don't? Are you going to be able to look at yourself in the mirror every day for the rest of your life knowing that you didn't give it a shot? And okay, it didn't work. So get up, dust your knees off and give it another shot, because we're not going anywhere.
No. And life is so short and it's so precious. And if you begin to identify those things, and you can really say, if I took one thing, right, that's the one thing that is important that I need to focus on, and you just start breaking that down, there may be multiple layers, but it's starting the process, because then that helps break everything else apart, and it won't seem so overwhelming to try to tackle. And I think a lot of people that I talk to think, well, you just don't understand. It's complex. I can't just do this and act differently and things are all going to be rosy. And it's not about that. It's digging deep to say, let's heal. Let's find a way to heal so that we can start from that place, right?
Yeah, and just refusing to stay stuck. I mean, my healing took 16 years. Now, if someone told me, hey, Rene, we're going to go on this amazing journey, and in 16 years' time, you're going to look back and go, gee, that was awesome. I would have run for the hills. But what I mean by it took 16 years, I noticed as soon as I heard those survivors talk on the platform, instant change, instant, because I had hope. And then the moment I spoke to someone, instant change, because then I had belief. So it's how we look at things, and we think, right, today I'm here, but tomorrow I want to be a multi-millionaire, I want to be married to the man of my dreams, and I want to have to be realistic. And yes, put that down and aim for that. Absolutely. I have that now when I never thought I would have that. But also be practical and be willing to do the freaking work. I can't say it enough, because we do like a comfort zone. We do like things to happen as easily and quickly as possible, but I also do not believe we cherish it, value it, honor it enough, and live it out to the best of our enjoyment, not even the best of our ability, best of our enjoyment, if we haven't had to fight and earn it. Because now I value my children, I value my partner, the work that I do. My work ethic was always high, but now it's up here because I've had to work at it. And it does make you better. I am a better mother. I'm a better partner, person, daughter, sister, because of my past. Not in spite of it, but because of it. And that's why I said battle scars are beautiful, because my life now is beautiful based on what I went through. Being able to reframe and work through it has made me the most grateful, loving, appreciative person that I could not have been without that. There would have been some resemblance, but not to the level that I have it now.
And that's the wholeness that, we as coaches want people to experience. It's you can have that, and you do deserve that. You do deserve that from inside so that you can go to bed fulfilled, wake up every morning excited to be able to add value and give back to the world. Because, I feel at the end of our life that we're not going to be questioned if we were good or bad. But I always say this to my classes is, did you use the gifts that you were given? Did you use it? Did you tune in to what the experiences were? And did you tune in to the gifts that you were given? And how did you use those to create significance in the world? And that's what I truly believe. And it's connected me to people like you and others that are saying, I've stepped up. Like I know that there's a voice inside of me that says, I am stronger than this. I am a warrior. I am able to face these challenges and not decide that those are stronger than me. I am stronger than them.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why I put that inscription at the beginning of the book, that battle scars are reminders of what tried to destroy us failed. Because, look, things come at us every single day of our lives. And the moment that you put your head on your pillow at night, you should be saying to yourself, yes, they didn't take me out. I'm still here. And tomorrow I'm going to show up again. Give yourself permission to go through the tears and those. You have to do that. That's part of the process. Just don't stay there. We talk about mountains and valleys. Don't pitch a tent in that valley and, throw out the sleeping bag and, toast marshmallows or s'mores and, intend to hang out there. You've got to go through it and go, yep, okay, I'm here, but keep going. And it really is just one step in front of another, one good choice. And just because you've taken 10 steps back, don't throw it all to the side and go, okay, well, there's just no point. No, that's part of it, honey. Now you've got to get up and just keep going, because there's going to be beautiful days ahead. And someone needs to hear what you have to say. We all have something in us that only we can deliver, that only we can give light and shade to. And someone needs to hear that. And I just, like I said, you don't want to get to the end of your life and go, I only wish. Missed opportunity, I think, is one of the saddest things in life, is to see something and then just go, oh, I don't know, and that opportunity then is gone. Don't do that. Grab hold of it, take hold and run with it. And we're all here to cheer you on and applaud you. Find your people. If you haven't found them yet, keep looking. They're out there and they're waiting for you. But they need you to step into your brilliance so that they can go, they're for me, and that's when we find our people, when we really start walking out our truth.
Absolutely. And we talk about adding value, us adding value to people, but it's really, this message is add value to yourself. Start to add value to your life. Invest in the tools. Do those things that are going to make you look differently walking out of this holiday season.
Absolutely.
So you have those strategies, because building it one step at a time, just like Rene has said, this is amazing to be able to use this in every part of your life. I'm getting ready to sneeze. I'm like, oh. Seriously, this is such a great topic. I know April, Holly, there were so many people here that have been texting me that said they couldn't get on or had questions for you. So I know that you're going to get some questions here.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I love questions.
Yeah. But, connecting our communities, right? That's part of, you're in my everyday leader group, because you are an everyday leader. This is exactly what people do. They change the world. We are changing the world, giving people confidence to step up and say, I want it to be different. And it can start with us. So
it has to start with us. You know, the generations are looking at us. My children look at me. Grandchildren are now starting to look up. Did I just say that? Yes, grandchildren are now starting to look up, and, you know, they watch us and they see what we're doing. And, you know, yes, it has, like, again, it starts with us, but we also have a responsibility to others and to the younger generation. There's no point sitting there going, oh, look at the younger kids, they're this, they're that, but they're not helping them, pardon me, to see what they should be doing or what we would love to them or what the world needs. You can't sit there and complain about something that you're not willing to help change. So be a part of it, or and I know I don't want to do this. I actually want to help them because I want to leave behind an amazing world for the kids to come.
Gosh, what wisdom. Oh my goodness, girl. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for just getting up and sharing this and connecting to community. And I know that I'm going to continue to share this and make sure that everyone knows how to reach out to you. I've put your website on here.
Thank you.
Rene Michele with 1L.com. RENEMICHELE.com. And you can reach out to her. And so she will, you know, she's in Australia.
I'm hoping to get over to you guys next year.
Oh,
Got some
wonderful.
good plans. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, let us know when, because
absolutely.
we can connect live, which would be really, really fantastic.
That would be awesome. We'll get there.
So well, any last messages for us here, wrapping up the holidays, that we can just say, don't forget this.
Just don't forget that you matter. You know, you matter and you're not alone. And I know it sounds so basic, doesn't it? But we make it so much more complicated than what we need to. Oh no, it's always about everybody else. No, honey, it's about you. And one day there has to come a day where you go, I am going to choose to believe it. Because there will come a time, and we all have those friends that we go, oh, it's just so hard. I keep telling them, I love upon them, I'm there for them. But we build up this wall that will eventually not just push others away, but isolate ourselves and trap us on the inside. We have to get better at saying, okay, thank you, and accepting that help. So please, if you know that you're someone that is really bad at accepting help, get better at it, because amazing people will come into your life when you start doing life with others that genuinely care about you.
It's awesome. Oh, I love you.
Thank you, darling. It's been awesome to be here.
It is wonderful.
Always is.
Thank you. Go back to bed. Get some rest.
I've got a, what is it, 5 hours I've got to do a live in my private Facebook group too. So if you see me again looking like this, you'll be like, oh, that looks familiar. That's why.
Oh my goodness. Well, awesome. Have a very, very Merry Christmas.
I will. And thank you too, hon. Please give love to your family and be safe and well.
All right. Thank you, Rene.
Darling. Bye.
Bye.